fantastic, and he always has strong opinions, having been born and raised in Kansas City. So let's.
Oh, yeah.
The breaking news is Davante Adams. I defended him initially because I think he's a good guy and he has a history of being a good guy, and your resume matters.
Yep.
Second thing is the initial video from above was not conclusive. The second video behind him, a kid walked in front of him. Shouldn't push people. But what do you make of now the misdemeanor assault charge against him, having been born and raised in that town?
Well, listen, I love my hometown. Do I think the Kansas City police have bigger problems to deal with than Davante Adams? Yeah, of course I do. I don't know if there's the greatest use of resources, but it is by the letter of the law. Simple assault. It was caught on film. Davante then admitted to it after the game when he apologized, so I guess they have to follow through if the gentleman wants to press charges. I'm sure Davante Adams is not going to be in any real legal jeopardy, and I totally agree with you that your track record has to matter.
Yes.
His apology was sincere. I think it was a heat of the moment, issue. I don't think it means he's a bad guy. With that said, Colin, I came on this show and on our show and argued that Mike Evans should not be suspended. But the NFL decided to suspend him. I think what Davante did is worse than what Mike Evans did. So Mike Evans pushed another football player. Davante pushed a civilian, on the outskirts of the football field. I don't think either should be suspended. But with the NFL setting the precedent that Mike Evans gets a game for shoving Marshawn Lattimore, do you think they're going to suspend Davante? Because I think with the Evans precedent, they almost have to.
Yeah.
Because what Davante did is worse.
Okay, so not that I defended Draymond, but I said when it came out, I said the internet thrives on outrage, and that Damian Lillard and Steve Kerr both said, oh yeah, fist fights happen all the time. Flip Saunders, the late great Flip Saunders, said the reason none of us coaches want our practice videoed, this happens all the time. We're trying to create tough mental teams, tough physical teams. Our practices are hard. And I do believe there is a sanitized version of sports the public sees, and then we put cameras in places and we don't like what we see. But do you think this rises to a culture splitting moment by Draymond and Jordan Poole that it could really hurt?
Well, listen, I disagree with you on the Draymond thing. Just first of all,
okay.
Yes, I think things happen at practice. I think this right here does not happen very often, if ever. And my general rule of thumb is if everyone's go-to example is something that happened a quarter century ago between Steve Kerr and Michael Jordan, then it must be pretty rare if we've got to go 25 years back. And this isn't a practice scuffle. This is Draymond Green walking up on a much smaller person, and if you watch everyone else's reaction, nobody thinks this is about to elevate to the level of a haymaker and then throwing a straight right that easily could have broke the guy's jaw or eye socket. Very lucky that Jordan Poole did not get significantly injured. Steve Kerr then also said, this is the biggest crisis of my career. And yet Draymond gets essentially no penalty. He's not even going to miss the entire preseason. So to answer your question, absolutely. I think this could be a massive moment for the Warriors. I think that and let me give Draymond credit kind of here. And I know he's your guy. I believe his sincerity of the apology. But Draymond has now entered an area that is a dangerous spot, which is, I believe you are apologetic. I believe you are sincere. I do not believe you can help yourself. I do not believe that because I think he felt badly when he almost fought Kerr 6 years ago. I think he felt badly when he slapped the kid at the Michigan State bar when he was a pro and a champion, and that was a college kid. I think he felt badly when he helped run KD out of town. He felt badly when he got suspended for an NBA Finals game, and I think he feels badly now. I don't think he has adequate control over his impulses. I think he's demonstrated that over 5-6 years, and I think that if there's a real chance that this is a moment for the Warriors where the veterans side with Draymond and the younger guys side with Poole, and that could be a very, very big problem.
That's an interesting take. So, listen, two things can happen. I can feel empathy, and the Miami Dolphins put two in a horrible situation. And I can also simultaneously believe quarterbacks get hit, and small ones, it's more punitive. the league is overreacting to this. Where do you land on right now the Chris Jones play, which I thought was the worst call I'd ever seen? The Jarrett call. A lot of people think that I didn't, but a lot of people think they just took the ball out of Atlanta's hands. Atlanta was rolling in that game. What do you make of where we're at?
So I want to stay here if we can for a moment, because I want your opinion on this, what I'm about to say. Because I agree with you. We have to be able to do two things at once. We have to be able to have a rigorous, adhered to concussion protocol for all players, not just quarterbacks. And we have to call roughing the passer as it's presently written and don't have those two. The issue with the Tua plays was not, was it roughing or was it not roughing? The issue with the Tua play was, did you allow a concussed player to go back into the game and skirt the concussion protocol? That Matt Milano was called for roughing the passer on that play. So those are separate things. But here's what I want your take on, Colin, because this, I do think, in a different way, the Tua circumstance is what led to the Grady Jarrett and the Chris Jones penalties. Because everyone in the media, and you were the first person, by the way, I give you credit, that I heard throw this out there. I think it was on Sunday night or Thursday night after the Tua thing. And you didn't use the word ataxia, but ataxia is the medical term. The idea of if a guy's wobbly, he's out. Take him out for the game. Have it be an automatic. The NFL did that. And now you saw immediately Teddy Bridgewater, it seems like, not suffer a concussion, but be ruled out for that game and now is in the concussion protocol because they're following those rules. I believe this, Colin, that the NFL knows now that, okay, everyone demanded that if any player, most notably quarterbacks, get up and they're wobbly, they have to be out for the game. So now we have to make even more sure those guys never end up wobbly.
Right.
And so I do think they are trying. I think we are at that Chiefs-Raiders game, the first two quarterback sacks, one on Mahomes, one on Carr, they never took him to the ground. They got there, they wrapped him up, and the refs blew it dead. I think that's where this is going. I think they are going to do a version of two-hand touch on the quarterback, because if the rule is going to be, if you show any signs of dizziness or lack of stability, you're out for the game. What they don't want is in this weekend's Chiefs-Bills game for Josh Allen to take a big hit, stumble for a moment, concussion-related or not, and now he's done for the day. So the only way to prevent that is to try to prevent him from taking a big hit. I think that's where this is headed.
Well, I'll tell you what I thought. My first takeaway when I watched Bridgewater leave after a play is a lot of teams want to carry two quarterbacks. Now you must carry three. Is that what will happen is there's always been an understanding in the NFL that if Brady didn't like Garoppolo around, you got him out of the building. Now it's like tough luck. You have to now. The good news is there's never been more quality quarterbacks in high school and college. But now that last roster spot is absolutely a quarterback. Because to your point, I think it would be great if everybody did a Max Crosby. It would be wonderful. And I do think, the NFL's always been pretty good, unlike baseball. They're pretty good at moving in the direction of, it's a TV show.
And they'll do it quick. They understand, listen, nobody likes the Chris Jones penalty. Nobody does. And the Grady Jarrett penalty, listen, if you're shocked that, Tom Brady got the benefit of a game-changing call, well, where have you been the last 20 years? But set that aside. Nobody likes it. But what people really won't like is if in this weekend's Chiefs-Bills game, Patrick Mahomes gets sacked, swears he's fine, but it gets ruled out for the football game. And what they really won't like is if that happens in the playoffs. And the only way to do their best to prevent that is to try to make sure the quarterbacks don't take big hits. I'm not saying it's the right call, but I think that's the direction this is going.
All right, I'm going to let you save all your Kansas City Buffalo stuff because I like the Chiefs this weekend, too. I run out of time, but you're right.
Underdogs at home, Colin.
I know.
Underdogs in Arrowhead. The big, bad champion Buffalo Bills. Oh, God. And by the way, number one scoring offense in the league, Colin, not Buffalo. Kansas City with no Tyreek Hill. It's almost like they have the better quarterback and the better coach and they're at home. And they're underdogs? Underdogs? Okay. No problem.
Yeah, it's my favorite bet of the week, Kansas City. Nick Wright, good seeing you, buddy.
See you, my friend.
I loved his Draymond Green take. Very thoughtful. That We're talking about a player maybe that some people have a temper. Go back to your childhood. I mean, people are, genetically wired to be what they are. And at some point, Draymond feels bad. But if this is the third, the fourth, the fifth instant that he is struggling with this control, it may be just a reality of personality. And that happens all the time. I got 6 kids. Like, they all have unique personalities. You can put them in therapy. You can try to teach them and mentor them and add wisdom. Kids are what they are.
Remember, Draymond Green is the one who cost them the 2016 finals.
Yeah, no.
Some have argued he cost them Kevin Durant with a sideline explosion.
No,
I'd move on from Draymond.
You would.
At this point, yeah. He's a liability offensively. Really good defensive player. But you got Wiseman, Kuminga, you got some young guys.
No, you're not the only person. Wiseman and Kuminga are
bouncy.
Really twitchy and bouncy. Good point. All right, hour 3.